So, after Resident Evil Extinction, with a title like Extinction, I guess that's it, huh? Well, no. No, there was another one. Resident Evil Afterlife, see? Yeah, we go into the netherworld now. But, so yes, the series continued, and in our last episode of Resident Evil, not only had Alice gained her superpower, well, she had gained them in the previous movie, of course, but now she was gaining all kinds of new powers, which we got to see very, very little of. But she also discovered a clone army of herself, which she released and vowed revenge on the Umbrella Corporation. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention in the previous review for Extinction was they introduced the character of Chairman Wesker, who is a character from the video game, I do believe. And I forget, I don't know the actor's name, but it's a different actor plays him in Afterlife and plays him for the rest of the series. So anyway, so now it's between her and him, apparently, and she seeks him out, and he is in the Tokyo base of operations for Umbrella. Now, here the film opens up in probably some of the most spectacular and best footage shot for the series. It's all, and another thing that Resident Evil does is borrow from other franchises. And here, yeah, a lot of Matrix stuff going on. But what are you gonna do? So many films borrowed from Matrix, so it's not like Resident Evil is alone in that. And can you really blame them? No. So she has her super army, and they all have the same superpowers and everything. And but before she gets there, you have this rather creepy opening to the film where they show what happened in Tokyo when the virus broke out there. And we see a woman looking kind of sick, and she's staring at this man, and he's wondering, hey, what's the deal? And they're walking in the street, and then she attacks him, and there you go, they're off to the races for the downfall of humanity and the apocalypse and blah, 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 blah. And then 4 years later, to the current time, Tokyo is this dead world where there's still zombies wandering around, and Umbrella has some snipers out there taking shots at them, and suddenly they're mysteriously attacked. Gee, I wonder who. It's Alice and her army. Meanwhile, Wesker is in another underground facility for Umbrella, and they're sitting there doing what they're doing, you know. And now they're realizing, oh no, security breach, what's going on? And of course, it's Alice and her army. And so there's all kinds of cool scenes they do, and she's all with her hair slicked back, and she's in her black cat suit, and boy, she looks awesome. And your boy Zach had mentioned a while back that really the role of Black Widow should have gone to Mila Jovovich, because she pretty much is Black Widow. You know, nothing against Scarlett Johansson. She did a fantastic job, and I look forward to her movie. I hope they don't ruin it with, you know, sermons. But anyway, yeah, Mila, that should have really been Mila's role. And you can see her, she's excellent at being the action hero. And again, take that, Captain Marvel. the first superhero female, you know, come on. So anyway, so yeah, it's the best part. We get a demonstration of her powers. She's able to wipe out a whole bunch of Umbrella guards and with two swords, and then when they really try to overwhelm her, she just turns on the superpowers, and they all just she rips up the floor and everything, and they all go flying and all this stuff. Just beautiful, gory violence and well choreographed and everything. There's a few mistakes here, because some of the action scenes she's running around and stuff, and I always notice this, the boots. She has flat-soled boots when she's doing a lot of action, but then when they have the close-up scenes and stuff like here, it's high-heel boots. Yeah, you can't really do that sort of stuff in high-heel boots. You're gonna be falling and twisting your ankle and stuff. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I know they look cool, but yeah, you probably should stick with the flat soles, you know. But anyway, so yeah, you get several scenes of Alice gets killed several times, but of course it's Witch Alice, you know. And Ultimately, she does win, but Wesker gets the drop on her. He manages to escape in a black osprey. And apparently Umbrella really likes the ospreys. I guess they're insinuating they developed them or something. And he had a bomb that destroyed the facility. And the entire Alice army, after all that buildup, goes down with it. And then the real Alice, well, she was hiding in the osprey. That's right. She just somehow knew. That's what he would do. So all that build up and everything, and it's over. And really, this is one of these things about Resident Evil is the movie probably should have been her taking on that facility. And and ultimately winning or losing, however you want to see it. And Wesker gets away, and in the next movie she's still chasing him or whatever. But it's over very quickly, and that's the best of the movie, really is. And so Wesker, he's in the Osprey, and she's, "Aha, I got you now." And he's like, so it's you, the real Alice. I mean, how do you know? I mean, and for that matter, how does she know? I mean, like I said earlier, you go back to the second movie and how it ends is, well, they could all be clones. But anyway, he quickly attacks her with a syringe and takes away her superpowers. So now, after all that build-up, wow, this is going somewhere. No, she's back down to nothing. So she doesn't have any powers, and but while he's too busy gloating over her, the plane crashes, and he could survive because he has the T-virus in him as well, apparently, and he has the superpowers. But somehow she survives this crashing into a mountain. And and utilizing Matrix technology again, they show this slowed down scene of them going forward as the plane crashes and all that. It's like, no, she could not have survived. Unless you want to argue, well, there was still some latent T-cell, a T-virus, in her to keep her regenerating before it finally left her. Okay, maybe you could do that. So after that, she figures, Wesker's dead. Of course he isn't. And she finds some really fashionable winter clothes and a plane and flies to Alaska, where her friends were going to a sanctuary called Arcadia at the end of the last movie. And she gets there, and there's like a big giant field filled with planes, and no one's there. She's like, what's going on? Suddenly she's attacked by a wild feral woman, and surprise, it's Claire, Ali Larder, and she's got some sort of robot spider on her chest. And so, hey, let's rip that off. So she does, and now she has amnesia, but she's not crazy and trying to kill her anymore. And so she ties her up, puts her in the plane, and they decide to leave, and they head for Los Angeles for some reason. Well, I guess they're still getting the radio signal of Arcadia, but she was there, so she's like, well, I guess it's done. I don't know what happened. And here you get a lot of good photography and stuff that they did for the flight scenes. After that, everything is pretty much green screen, and it's kind of looking cheap. So the bulk of the money was spent on the beginning, and it looks great and everything, but it's pretty much over. Meanwhile, Ali Larder was all, like I said, feral looking and dirty and stuff, which would make sense considering what she'd been through. But then on the plane, boy, she's got great makeup, her hair's done and everything. So anyway, they fly, and they end up in Hollywood, and you see it's all devastated, which shows you what Hollywood, what the soul of Hollywood looks like. All burnt up and destroyed, zombies everywhere. And they come upon this prison. Walking Dead, huh? Yeah. So there's the survivors holed up in the prison, and she lands, and they think she's from Arcadia, and no, there's no Arcadia. And they say, yes, there is. And it turns out Arcadia is a ship, and they want to get to it, but they're trapped in the prison because it's surrounded by zombies, so they've got to figure out how to get out. Meanwhile, they got a prisoner in the prison who says he knows how to get out and get to the ship. But he says he's not a prisoner. He was a soldier who accidentally got locked up in it, and they don't trust him, blah, blah, blah. And another thing it takes kind of steals from the idea of the remake of Dawn of the Dead, where you have a cast of characters stuck in a place needing to get out, and their initial plan is to use these heavily armored vehicles which pretty much was the plan that they did at the end there. And then you have your asshole characters who are, of course, going to mess everything up and turn on you. You got this guy who's a producer, and of course, that's exactly what he does, and all of that. But they end up having to abandon the armored car thing because the engine was out, and they didn't have the time to do it. So the asshole steals Alice's plane and goes to the ship, and then they got to go through these tunnels and find another way to get there. And there's some scenes that are pretty good, and they introduce that the zombies continue to mutate, so now they have tentacles coming out of their mouths. Sure, why not? And but the big stupid thing is the prisoner turns out to be Ali Larga's brother. Yes, just what a coincidence. Small world, huh? And slowly but surely, Ali Larga, Claire, as her name is, gains her memory and all that. And they introduce Luther, who was a famous basketball player. And so it makes sense that a couple of scenes they show him leaping extraordinary lengths. And of course, well, he's a basketball player and all that. And Alice now has all her weapons, but she has these sawed-off shotguns, but she uses coins for them because, you know, the shotgun shells will be lacking in supply. And then there's another nemesis, I guess, is this big giant dude, and they have to battle him now. Without any superpowers, it's So she shoots at his head, of course, but it takes several shots, and then finally, how do they destroy him? She shoots him in the head, and his head explodes. There you go. That's it. Just took several times, I guess, and he has this burlap sack over his head. So, oh boy, that burlap, that's tough to get through. Whatever. They get to the ship, and a Kmart is there with a bunch of other survivors. They've all been captured to be experimented on, and they're all in these white suits, and I guess they're just, you know, keeping them in storage for that purpose. So Arcadia was just a trap, of course, and guess who's there? Yes, Wesker. And there's another Matrix fight. Wesker even has the Matrix coat on, and he's zooming around at super speed, and he can dodge bullets just like Neo and all that. But even without superpowers, Alice is able to shatter glass and then kick a shard of it at just the right moment to where it splits open a zombie dog's head. You know, yeah, they should have come up with like maybe not all. She had some powers. So anyway, they win. She shoots Wesker in the head, and they leave him there. But of course, the T-virus just regenerates him. You'd think they would have known that. They should have done a lot more than just one shot. But anyway, he escapes in the plane, but Alice got to drop him again and put a bomb in the plane, and the whole thing explodes. And that's the end of Wesker. No. Might as well spoil it here. But we'll cover that in the next. Yes, that's right. Another film's coming after this one. So there you go. Resident Evil Afterlife. And boy, there's even more after Afterlife. But that won't be the title. It'll be called Retribution. I wonder what that'll be about. Well, we'll have to wait and see. All right, thank you for watching and listening. Say, why not like and subscribe? And while you're here, check out that link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have plenty of goodies